Hello everyone, today we are going to present you our final project and the topic is climate change. This group is conformed by Rurik, Frankeli, Jose Gabriel and me. The current warming trend is of particular significance because most of it is very likely human use and proceeding at a rate that is unprecedented in the past 1,300 years. Air-orbiting satellites and other technological advances have enabled scientists to see the big picture, collecting many different types of information about our planet and its climate on a global scale. The heat-trapping nature of carbon dioxide and other gases was demonstrated in the mid-19th century. Their ability to affect the transfer of infrared energy through the atmosphere is the scientific basis of many instruments flown by NASA. There is no question that increased level of greenhouse gases must cause the Earth to warm in response. Ice cores drawn from Greenland, Antarctica, and tropical mountain glaciers show that the Earth's climate responds to change in greenhouse level. But what is climate change? It's a change in the statistical distribution of weather patterns when that change lasts for an extended period of time. Now, I'm going to give you some evidence for the rapid climate change that is happening right now. For example, sea level rise. Global sea level rose about 17 centimeters in the last century. The rate in the last decade, however, is nearly double that of the last century. Global temperature rise. All three major global surface temperature reconstruction show that Earth has warmed since 1880. Warming oceans. The oceans have absorbed much of this increased heat, shrinking ice sheets. The Greenland and Antarctic sheets have decreased in mass. Declining Arctic sea ice. Both the extent and thickness of Arctic sea ice has declined rapidly over the last several decades. Glacier retreat. Glaciers are retreating almost everywhere around the world, including the Alps, Himalayas, Andes, Rockies, Alaska, and Africa. Extreme events. The number of record high temperature events in the United States has been increasing, while the number of record low temperature events has been decreasing since 1950. Ocean acidification. Since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the acidity of surface ocean water has increased by about 30%. Decreased snow cover. Satellite observation revealed that the amount of spring snow cover in the northern hemisphere has decreased over the past 5 decades and that the snow is melting earlier. Now, my classmate Rurik is going to talk about the causes of climate change.
Hello, my name is Rudy, and now I'm going to talk about the causes of the climate change. The principal causes are the human, because it is like destroying the ambient environment. Well, here are like a picture of the minor greenhouse gases from people's activity. These are methane, carbon dioxide, and other gas, nitrous oxides. I am going to talk a little about one of them to the for you get a better learning. Well, most climate scientists agree the main cause of the current global warming trend is human expansion of the greenhouse effect. Warming that results when the atmosphere traps heat, radiation, here to workplace. Certainly the gases in the atmosphere block heat from escaping. Long live gases that remain semi-permanently in the atmosphere and do not respond physically or chemically to change in temperature are described as forcing. Climate change gases such as water vapor, which respond physically or chemically to change in temperature, are seen as feedback. The gases that contribute to the greenhouse effect include the water vapor. What is the water vapor? The most abundant greenhouse gas, but importantly, it acts as feedback to the climate. Water vapor increases as the air atmosphere warms, but so does the possibility of clouds and precipitation, making this some of the most important feedback mechanisms to the greenhouse effect. Now I'm going to tell you about the carbon dioxide. It is a minor but very important component of the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide is released through natural process such as respiration and volcano eruption. Through human activity such as deforestation, land use change, and burning fossil fuels. Humans have increased atmospheric CO2 concentration by a third since the Industrial Revolution began. This is the most important long-lived forcing of climate change. Now I'm going to talk about the methane, that is the 30% of the greenhouse gas from people activity. The methane is an hydrocarbon gas produced by both natural sources and human activities, including a decomposition of wasted and landfills, agriculture and special rice cultivation, as well as ruminant digestion and manure management associated with domestic livestock on a molecular basis. Methane is a far more activity greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide, but also one which is much less abundant in the atmosphere. Now I'm going to talk about nitrous oxide, that is 4.9% of the greenhouse gases. The nitrous oxide is a powerful greenhouse produced by soil cultivation practice, especially the use of commercial and organic fertilizer, fossil fuel combustion, nitric acid production, and biomass production. Now I'm going to tell you these are the molecules from the gases. Now I'm going to tell you about the solar irradiance. It's reasonable to assume that change in the sun's energy output would cause the climate change, since the sun is fundamental source of energy that drives our climate system. Indeed, studies show that solar variability has played a role in past climate change. For example, a decrease in solar activity is thought to have triggered the Little Ice Age between approximately 1650 and 1850, when Greenland was largely cut off by ice from 1410 to the 1720s, and glacier advance in the Alps. Well, climate models that include solar irradiance change can reproduce the observed temperature trend over the past century or more, without including a rise in greenhouse gases. Well, now I'm going to finish my part of the cause, showing a picture when humans are contaminating river in this case. As you can see, this is garbage in a river, and there are people in the water, and they are like swimming or trying to drink this water. Also, there are dog that, if you can see here, the dog is drinking the water that of course is contaminating. That kind of thing, I can say that help to contaminate the earth, and it produces the climate change. Here I have another picture. Here another picture that is a ship that is like with leaving all the garbage in the water, maybe in the sea. You can see that it is bad because this help to increase the climate change. That if we continue with this contamination, it is going to affect us in the future. As human, we have to care of the environment, and we have to think in green, to generate maybe green. Well, now I'm going to show a video that I found that I think that is very interesting for get a better learning, and maybe to understand better what is the climate change and what is coming. What is going to be from the years. So the video that you watch, it shows how the climate change has been affecting us in the years. This was a NASA satellite that was like a recording or taking picture, that now in the video we can appreciate the change that have been making the climate change. It shows us like the dry of the lakes and the mountain, and you can see all of this effect. That now my partner Jose Gabriel is going to get most in the topic to show the effect of the climate change.
Evidence of a changing planet can be seen on NASA's website, Global Climate Change, Vital Signs of the Planet. One of the many features of this site is a series of revealing before and after pictures. Begun in 2009 and taken by satellite and aircraft technology, the agency's Images of Change project provides side-by-side photos of the same place over time to document the environment changes that have happened through natural and man-made causes. For example, engineering has led to a new dam in Pakistan and a growing landmass in Singapore. The massive population growth in Las Vegas, Nevada can be seen through undeveloped land in 1972, through expansion in 1992, to concentrated habitation in 2013. Though many examples show the restorative powers of the Earth, such as land regeneration after a massive volcano eruption in Washington state, numerous images show the detrimental effects of climate change and global warming. Melted glaciers and ice can be seen all over the world, while drought has shrunk Lake Chad to about 1/20th its size from the 1960s and has also affected areas in California, Central Asia, and Iran.
Hi, as my partner already said, I'm going to talk about the effects of climate change. My partner said what are the components of the greenhouse. We have to know the greenhouse is not variable because this component make that the sun rays that come to the earth keep a little part of those sun rays, and this keep a good temperature that may help us to do our daily routines, help to the plants to survive and grow up, for the animals too, to keep the temperature we need to the life. The problem is the concentration of this greenhouse, because if we produce more gas of greenhouse, this concentration will increase, and this will retain more sun rays. And what is the problem with that? That if we retain more sun rays that the earth needs, it will increase the temperature, and this will make a climate change. And that's all the mechanic. We have to know that the climate change is a modification of the climate related with the historical climate date that shows us different levels between the time. We have to be sure that we are the responsible that this is being occurring nowadays. The greenhouse and the climate change, how it's related, we have to know that this caused the flood by the glacier melting. This is at the old level. So if it's occurring a flood by the glacier melting, there will be more animals that won't be in a good habitat for them, because the sea will increase, the temperature will increase because the ice is melting, and the sun is giving to the north and south poles, and also we have to know that it also we will have torrential rains. Well, it's estimated that it has to increase more or less 4 grades to the end of this century. If we increase, we have to focus in the American Latin. Why in American Latin? Because even the American Latin is responsible of produce 12.5% of the gas emission. We are the most affected with the climate change. Why? Because we see at the news, with newspaper and the TV, in the daily life. Every day we are seeing the problem that caused the climate change. Notice that someone who was living for your house that had a lot of cows, the cows dying, for example, the fishing is reducing. For example, the broad will increase, and that will make more natural disasters. For example, the farming will decrease, how I explained before. And the glacier in American Latin, for example, in 80% of the Andes, will disappear with the climate change. And also the fishing the fishing is affected because the fish will change his habitat by the sea, because the sea will increase, and also by the change of the temperature of the sea. For that reason, the fishing will be affected, and some people we don't have they resort that they take money from that and give food for their family. If that way of work disappear or reduce, for example, the sea level, for example, in the American Latin will increase more or less in 65 centimeters. If that's only if we increase 2 grades of the temperature. And imagine if we increase all the estimate, that is 4 grades of temperature, that is estimate for the end of this century. That is approximate of 1 centimeter when they increase the 4 grade estimate. So we have to, there a lot of solutions that we can contribute in all the group, and my partner Franchelli is going to give an example of that in a moment. Now I'm going to show you some pictures that are related with the climate change by the concentrate of the greenhouse that retain the sun rays. For example, in the flood. The flood is there that the street will be full of water, or maybe occurs some tsunamis in some part of the world by the climate change, and also torrential rains. We can see here, for example, that also we have the grain loss of grains because we have a drought, and also we have that some animals dead by the drought, and also how we can see the ice melt or glacial melt that is a world level. And that's all for my part, and my partner Franchelli is going to explain you some solution about this topic, that is climate change.
Hi everyone, it's a pleasure for me to share this information of the some solution about the climatic change and the global warming that is affecting our world today. And I think that for reduce the starting of the climatic change, we need to understand that the people are the principal factor that transform and rechange the environment. So for this reason, we want to present some solution of this. These serious problems of the climatic change is not just for a people that have the solution. Everybody needs to participate and contribute with the solution of the problem. The climatic change and the global warming has increasing, rising, so it's obligatory that taking appropriate measures to mitigate this effect. The goals of the mitigation is to avoid dangerous human interference with the climatic system. If we talk about the climatic change, it's necessary to talk about the fossil fuels. This is the first challenge, is to eliminate the burning of coal, oil, and eventually natural gas. This is perhaps the most daunting challenge, as Danish Richard Nation literary grade. So, all the cities, all the developed new system for obtaining energy and the serve of the same comfort, which are largely thanks for the energy storage in such fuels. The carbon neutral biofuels can drive the price of food and lead to forest destruction, and white nuclear power that do not emit greenhouse gas. It does produce radioactive waste, but is bit counts. Other thing that is the methane used for prepared food. It can be obtained using the estiércol of the cow and sow processed in a biodigester. This reduces the contamination for the methane in the greenhouse. Other thing is the use of solar panel that capture the energy of the sun and transform in electric energy. Other can be the aeolic energy, the wind of the blow of the wind and capture and move a turbine that generate electricity. and the thermal energy using the water of the hot spring. Geothermal, this comes from the center of the earth and can be the hydroelectric energy that move a turbine that generate electricity. I think that gradually it's possible to make the change. If everybody push a grain of sand, we can contribute to this for reduce the global warming. We can see too that many countries that are taking care for reduce the emission of carbon dioxide. The NASA has relayed that Mega Cities Carbon project is focuses of the problem of the accurate measuring and monitoring greenhouse emission from the world's biggest city. The three are three concepts that today we are accepting, and is the recycling, reduce, and reuse. Recycling, we can to the plastic, we can to transform, and the reuse, we can to use a bottle of water, and we can always use that. The many countries have restrained in the Intergovernmental Panel on Climatic Change. This organization that evaluate the provide scientific solution for the effects of the climatic change. It's confirmed for many countries. The last year there's a conference in Paris that participate a lot of countries for generate new idea for avoiding increasing of the global warming. The Universal Accord the principal objective was the reduce the temperature in 2 grades for 2020. In conclusion, the climatic change is something that affects all the species in the earth, change the behavior of the habitat of many birds, lots of animals, and the principle for decrease this impact is that the people can to change the way of think and to change the point of view about the environment, don't pollute, and interact with the climatic, and to take conscious. So I think that is our responsibility to mitigate and avoid the damage of the beautiful planet. My panel wants to come here to mention other solutions.
Well, now we are going to tell a solution that we think that will be a good solution in the future for avoid the climate change. Because here we are studying engine agronomy, so I think that we are working hard to avoid the climate change. Well, in my opinion, I think that a good solution is to avoid to throw the garbage in the floor or in the land. Maybe if we classify the garbage in plastic, in all kind of garbage, we can reduce a contamination, and we can have a better results in the topic of the climate change. If we maybe do not disperse the water, we can save the next generation and all the generation that are coming in the future.
Well, another solution to reduce climate change and reduce the gas emission to reduce the climate change could be the efficient use of the energy. How do we can do that? Well, we can, if we are charging, for example, a smartphone, after we charge the smartphone, we have to take off the charger from the energy source, because this still is taking energy even if we are not even if the cell phone is not connected to the charger. That's turn off the light if we are not in the room bedroom, and turn off the TV if we are not using this, and that's our efficient use of energy. And also another solution could be the use of bicycle. Bicycle. The use of bike. So we reduce the gas emission, and with that we reduce the greenhouse.
Well, this was our final project. Thanks for your attention. Good night.
Bye.